evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the 8th edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards 2020. I'm Sonali Krishna.
And I'm Pooja Jain, and we're your hosts for the evening.
Leaders of Tomorrow is India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We kicked off the season with the theme Small to Scalable to showcase the growth story of the most promising entrepreneurs across India. In the wake of the COVID-19 crisis, however, we kept our ears to the ground and pivoted our programming to reflect both the struggles and the anxieties small businesses are facing and embracing. In fact, with the onset of the pandemic, the Leaders of Tomorrow platform has only become all the more relevant. As the country's only daily televised platform focused exclusively on the SME and startup community, our aim has been to serve as the torchbearer for the small business community to ensure their voices are heard. With entrepreneurs now experiencing crises of new magnitudes, the Leaders of Tomorrow launched its exclusive high-impact e-forums in an effort to bring our audiences the brightest minds, the biggest influencers and newsmakers in the business to ensure periodic doses of inspiration, ideation, problem-solving, crisis-specific navigation, and crystal ball gazing to help businesses tide through these incredibly dark and difficult times.
That's absolutely right, Sonali. And each season on the Leaders of Tomorrow typically concludes with a glittering awards ceremony to recognize and reward the accomplishments of SMEs and startups from all corridors of the country. To conclude Season 8 of Leaders of Tomorrow, our endeavor this evening has been to create a virtual yet equally grand platform that celebrates the country's most compelling small businesses and their success stories. But before we proceed any further, here's a glimpse of our journey so far.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It might seem easy to hear, but hard to achieve. Grit, passion, valor, all it takes to give you that sweet taste of success. And yes, entrepreneurship is an essential ingredient needed to build a healthy economy. In Season 8, Leaders of Tomorrow came live from the 4 zones of the country, North, South, East and West, with a nationwide challenge for entrepreneurs. What didn't change were our pan-India roadshows, connecting the length and breadth of the country to highlight the most pressing issues for entrepreneurs across sectors. Now, given the unprecedented global health crisis the world finds itself in, entrepreneurs across industry verticals are adapting to a new normal. To equip businesses with enough ammunition to navigate the ebbs and flows of the road ahead, we launched Leaders of Tomorrow e-Forums, a virtual series where we brought to you the country's most notable leaders, influencers and newsmakers that are withstanding the choppy waters and inspiring small businesses to find their way. And that's not all. Leaders of Tomorrow, through its COVID-19 focused programming, put the spotlight on several governments on the state view to question and understand the support extended to MSMEs in the present environment. Leaders of Tomorrow made it its dharma to ensure small businesses have a voice and play its part in the economic revival of the country. It's time to celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit.
Next, we're joined by a very special guest, someone who has made a career of working hand in hand with small businesses, enabling them to reach their maximum potential. A visionary thinker and social reformer who's deeply committed to making India an economic superpower on the strength of its MSME sector.
A leader who has rallied behind the vision for an Atmanirbhar Bharat and is a tireless champion for small businesses across India. Please join me in welcoming our Chief Guest, Minister of Road Transport and Highways and Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, the Honourable Minister and our Chief Guest this evening, Shri Nitin Gadkari.
Dear friends, it is a pleasure for me that the people, those who have excellent performance in the MSME sector, the ET is now giving special award to them. The MSME role in the development of our country is very important. In the GDP, we contribute 30% of the GDP from MSME. 48% of the export of the country is from MSME. At the same time, up till now, we have created, MSME created 11 crore jobs. Now we have changed the definition of MSME. We are facilitating and supporting, giving good support to MSME for creating good export. Now presently in a situation, it's the time for the country that we need to reduce import and increase export. We need to create more jobs, and that is exactly important for the country. As far as eradication of poverty, the mission of our government and the Prime Minister, the most important thing is to create new jobs. And MSME is creating good jobs. At the same time, the village industry is equally important. We need to concentrate on agriculture, rural, tribal, and particularly 115 aspirant district, where the people are socially, economically, educationally backward. And this is a sector where we need to do more work. I am really appreciating the initiative of ET, encouraging the MSME who are doing excellent jobs, upgradation of technology, having good turnover. At the same time, they are now will be capable to make more export for the country. I really appreciate all the industries who are receiving the awards. At the same time, I will give my all best wishes to them, because presently the whole world and our country is facing this COVID-19. I am confident that we will win this war against COVID-19. At the same time, we will win economic war and fulfill the dream of Prime Minister Modi ji to make India 5 trillion economy and 100 lakh crore infrastructure. I am confident that with the cooperation of all the stakeholders, we will try to maintain the cooperation, coordination and communication between the stakeholders, and 100% with all these problems, I am sure that with your cooperation, we will 100% going to win this war. I am giving my all best wishes to all of you, those who are receiving awards. At the same time, I pray to God for you be safe from COVID-19. Lastly, I will request you, it is the time that country need to understand, the people need to understand art of living with COVID-19. Be safe. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Leaders of Tomorrow, as a platform, is firmly focused on the development and advancement of India's incredibly vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our next speaker is an industry luminary who himself has empowered countless entrepreneurs to conquer their dreams. In a career spanning across 3 decades, he has enabled some of the country's most innovative small businesses to meet and beat their organizational milestones, taking their enterprises to the next level of growth. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming the MD and CEO of IDFC First Bank, V. Vaidyanathan.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to see every one of you today about the leaders of tomorrow. We have been at IDFC First Bank and earlier in Avatar as Capital First been involved with leaders of tomorrow for many years now, maybe 7 years or so. So our association goes very deep. Compared to many other programs and rewards and accolades which support large entrepreneurs like the ones of the Economic Times Excellence Awards and so on, this one focuses on the medium-sized entrepreneurs, the small and the micro entrepreneurs who are very significant part of the Indian ecosystem. So for us, this is a core constituency. Our whole company entity started created by this entity. So we have a very deep commitment to that, and which is why when the program came about, we were partners to this program, and I'm very happy that we've been part of this program for a very long time now. The organizers asked me to speak to you on the occasion. I must first start by saying that to every one of you who have won awards today, very hearty compliments. It's been a very tough 6 months for everyone, actually maybe a little longer than that. Any case, small entrepreneurs have more issues, more troubles. They have lesser reserves. Ability to attract talent is relatively lesser as compared to the larger corporations. Interest cost of borrowing is relatively higher. So life is relatively difficult. And in these circumstances, and particularly after being COVID hit, if all of you are standing up today and come through successfully and won awards, it is to be something you should be very proud about. I'm told the jury process was very elaborate, so you should justifiably be proud. Now, the organizer actually asked me to speak a few words about what I think of the current situation, and to give you a couple of thoughts on what I feel at this point of time. If there's one message I'd like to leave for entrepreneurs who are watching this program on the very special occasion of the Leaders of Tomorrow Awards function, it is to just share with you, as we see it from our world as well as when we see around, how rapidly this digitization is happening around us. If you're any entrepreneur, if you're the services industry, your manufacturing industry, you're an agriculture industry, any industry that you are, there is a very rapid wave of digitization coming, and it is not going to spare anyone at all. So definitely Indian economy will recover, everything will be fine. Depends on who's standing at that point of time. Is the person who's able to navigate the digital system in an agile manner. I'll give you one example if that helps you in any way. As this concept of digitalization, as you're aware, is just all around us. But one example, you see kirana shops all around us. There are 1.5 crore such kirana shops across the country. It's really the last battle to be won, because that's the hardest one to battle, because this is normally traditional entrepreneurs sitting in the shop from morning to night, maybe with a husband and wife and a small shop selling chips and that kind of stuff. And though, kirana shops as such, you might tend to think that of late they're all getting digitized because they're all beginning to accept digital payments, which is true, by the way. They're all, many of them, not all, close to about 25% of kirana shops in the country have some sort of digitization, and 75% have no digitization at all. Now, even those who have are tending to have either a POS machine, which is rare, but certainly the M-POS or the QR code, that's the traditional definition of digitization. But that's not all. Just in that world, dramatic changes are happening. Because if you're a small entrepreneur or a shopkeeper, you probably need inventory management. There is some fintech that is coming in giving inventory management as a layer. Udan, Ninja Cart. There are entrepreneurs like that who do that. Then, therefore, delivery. Closer to the home, if you want to make delivery, there are some delivery shops available. This Zomato, Swiggy, all these people are now beginning to enter into that ecosystem and start doing delivery. Then if you want to pay taxes, then again, it can be done online. Apps are doing it, ClearTax is doing it. Now, if basically, if you want credit, then many banks are now providing apps for that and giving online connectivity. FMCG companies want to do end-to-end connect into the Kirana ecosystem and want to provide them a platform where they can provide inventory management, credit, delivery, the whole ecosystem and so on. So just that last holy grail of digitization, which is hardest to crack, is the kirana ecosystem. That itself is being disrupted. I can't use the word disrupted. They're being digitized in a very massive way, not just for accepting payments. And of course, because POS machines are no longer expensive, because just a QR code, close to 20-30 million POS machines, everybody's talking about, Paytm is talking about, PhonePe is talking about, and so on. So I gave you 5 examples of how the entire ecosystem of the kirana shop system is going to completely digitized massively. If you take that as one example, and then you'll find it, you'll understand why the gaming industry is changing, the education industry is changing, the banking industry is changing, financial services is changing, mutual funds is changing, investments is changing. Everything. I mean, I can go on and on. You're seeing it all around us. But I gave you the hardest one to crack kirana ecosystem, and everybody wants it. FMCG wants it, telcos want it, and so on. So that is the sort of changes happening around us. The second, so therefore, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're able to navigate this, you'll be fine. If you're not, then there's going to be trouble in the next few years. The second part is the amount of changes, rather the item number 2 I'd like to talk about is this pace at which how the government of India and the RBI moved when the ecosystem dramatically changed because of COVID. And at the government level alone, I'll just count 4-5 quick ones just to get the context right. 1.7 lakh crores transferred to the poor through the DBT system, the front loading of PM Kisan scheme, IT refunds up to 5 lakh rupees, 3 lakh crores of emergency credit guarantee scheme, new definition of MSME, new definition of PSL. The list is so long that all in quick session, rapid fire in the last maybe 2 or 3 months. Again to give us confidence, RBI so agile, TLTRO1, TLTRO2, 1.5 lakh crore moratorium, restructuring programs, NHB CDB given 50,000 crores, CRR reduced, MSF reduced, LCR reduced. So just see how big part of the play, which is government and RBI all moving in this ecosystem to deal with the situation. Further, government has put through reforms, commercial mining allowed, labor reforms, APMC reform, you name it. Basically, things are happening all around us, and that's very good for India and good for everybody. It's going to affect everybody in the ecosystem. Last comment I'd like to have before I just hand over back to the anchor is to say about, we talked about how digitization is happening, how government is moving, how RBI is moving. Fourth thing I'd say is that India, and I'd like to say every cycle recovers. We've seen the global financial crisis. We've seen, implementation of GST. We saw implementation of demonetization. This too will recover because end of the day, human beings are consuming people from birth to death. People are only consuming, right? When a child is born, it's consuming baby diapers and maybe consuming milk. When the person is growing up, they're consuming education. They're consuming two-wheelers. Then they want to consume cars. They want to consume flights. They want to travel. So consumption of human beings of food, shelter, clothing, they'll keep going on all the while. So consumption will come back whether today or tomorrow or day after. And we got to figure out how well positioned we are to take advantage of that. So on that note, I want to sign off. I want to just say a very big word of congratulations once again. I really mean it. And for coming through this coming through the system. And to every one of you who are having any relationship with our bank, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you.
Now, this evening is about saluting small businesses and their success stories, but it's also about taking a closer look at their journeys and the obstacles they've overcome in the current scenario to realize their entrepreneurial aspirations. So to do a deeper dive on the survival strategies that have put SMEs and startups on the path towards long-term sustainable growth, next I'd like to invite MD and CEO of IDFC First Bank, V. Vaidyanathan, to join my colleague Sonali Krishna, Senior Editor with ET Now, in a fireside chat.
So today, let me flash back to when you were a young man in your 30s, with stars in your eyes and, having a plush job with ICICI and rearing to go and climbing the corporate ladder very, very, very fast. How did you dare to dream the dream that you wanted to hold a banking license one day?
I'm still in my journey, so I can't call myself extraordinarily successful or anything like that. I think I'm only 52 and I have much more to look forward to. But to the extent it helps you, at that point of time, India was growing so fast and so much. So I always used to feel that, if I felt that RBI won't give a license because I'm just an individual and you won't get it. So I came up with an idea saying that why don't you take a stake in one non-banking finance company and then build something so unique in that company and then go back to the RBI for a license. And by the way, even Uday Kotak got a banking license like that. He got he was running his NBFC and then he converted to a bank. So my model was very similar. I just felt that there's a very big opportunity and I think I had a reasonably good image. So I thought I might chance my luck. Idea is always very simple, but the execution, the tough part is the execution, because obviously when you leave ICICI and you come out and you're a nobody and you start all over again, and that can be, of course, very, very hard.
So I want to take you back to some areas of your own personal career where you've bet pretty big. Your punt has been pretty big, and it could have gone either way. But you had the stomach to walk it through. And I want to go back to the part where you identified an NBFC, and it was a loss-making NBFC, and you decided to take that big risk and buy it out and buy its shares. And what was the kind of belief that was driving you to take such a great risk?
What's at stake is basically that, if it fails, then you are a nobody. So that's a very big risk to take, actually, because, you don't get a job at ED of ICICI Bank again, and you got to hunt your life all over again. But that was the risk. The second thing that's at stake was that it is financial, because at some stage I got leveraged. I had to borrow close to about 70 to 80 crore rupees personally to buy this, to get access to the stake. So yeah, it can go either way. But like I said before, if it ends well, we are here to tell the tale. So many entrepreneurs must have tried these things and may not have worked. But I think appreciation to all the people who tried.
When you were raising those 80 crores, I mean, 80 crores is no mean feat. None of us can think about it. What all did you have to put at stake? I believe there was at one time, when I think you bought it for 162 rupees and it went down to 100 rupees. These are very serious situations in one's life. What was it going through your mind? A lot of entrepreneurs, I think, who look up to you, who are hearing this, would like to know, in a situation where you feel that it's a complete dead end. How do you muster the courage to stick it out?
It does look like dead end. Yeah, it is true. I had bought the stock at 162 and stock came down to 130, later to 100 at some stage and some freak crash. So lenders started calling and asking for, more margin cover. So whatever I had at stake, I had a house, I had investment in a property which is under construction. So I valued that property and also gave it as a security. The business model we were building is very unique. I thought that can create a lot of value. So my game plan is very simple. I thought I'll buy the stock at 160 rupees. At some day it will appreciate. Maybe if I give it 3 or 4 or 5 years, because it's a fundamentally good model. When share prices go up, at that time I will sell it and close my loan and I'll keep the balance. These are classical leveraged buyout models. So I had learned about this even at Harvard Business School, and I think I was actually implementing it. So that's what it is. So yeah, to your question, of course, it's very stressful. We bought it and later business is not in good shape, or you don't get funding lines from banks, or you don't get equity. These things can be, of course, very stressful. But I'm not alone. I think every entrepreneur today in Corona is facing similar stress. But it was very stressful.
Was there at any point you said, "Oh my God, what have I done?" I had everything going well for me. I was doing well. I had a good corporate job. I had a fancy salary, a good life. What is this that I've got myself into? Were there times where you second guessed your decisions?
Yes, it happened at least once or twice. I think around 2011 or 12, this 2G scam had broken out. There was one story about one company called Money Matters, which was, I think, there was some issue at that end, and suddenly all banks stopped lending because it felt like a scam, almost lending those days. So yeah, I mean, I felt this is really going nowhere, and it did feel terrible for that moment. But I did believe that if you keep trying, there will be a backing from some private equity, because I was only one good stroke away from success, and that stroke was one big private equity backing. And I somehow knew that if you have a good model, people will back it. I had two things actually, which I was very sure about. I used to tell myself and tell everybody that, look, if we have a business model that is unique, that has intellectual property, that has growth, and it has fantastic corporate governance. I told people, look, there may be business issues, but you will never have to double guess me on corporate governance. So this is the assurance I gave to private equity players. When it fell into place, then things started falling into place.
And tell me that moment when, this very audacious idea of you finally owning a bank came to fruition when you met Mr. Lal.
I don't call owning a bank and all those big terms I leave for the bigger boys of this industry. In my case, of course, I got diluted along the way, and I think it happens to all first generation entrepreneurs. You can have 20% or 15% of capital first, but by the time you merge and you raise more equity, you keep diluting down. But that's okay. The way I think about it is that when that option came, I grabbed it with both hands. I didn't negotiate very much because our share price had gone up very sharply in the last 6 years. Our share price had gone up from like 100 to some 800 or something. So we just said, whatever the share price in the market, just value it at market and just do it. And it was we did it pretty quick because I had only one objective, that we had to get a banking license. And through the merger, we were getting a banking license. It was too important to me.
Today, in the context of COVID-19, as you're aware, small businesses are completely, fractured. And, while the commentary around is that, yes, there is so much being done, the point is, on ground, the reality is pretty brutal. At such a time, when you don't know if you're going to survive or not, at a time when, everybody is talking about the fact that you need to digitally pivot. Uh, there is lots of confusion amongst entrepreneurs. What would you recommend to entrepreneurs who just don't know what to go? Stay put, turn right, left, or just fold?
No, it's really a good question. The way I think about it is that, in my case, I knew very well that by the time you merge with with a large bank, I knew I'd get very diluted. But one thing I was clear that it's not about the stake, what percentage you have. It is basically how you feel about an institution. Do you have the power to do what you want to do, and are you getting the thrill every single day of taking decisions and building institutions? And and in our case, our core constituency happens to be the small consumers, small entrepreneurs in a very big way, and we believe this very big game can play. So I'm very thrilled about it. I want to do it for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I want to keep building this game. So that's the kind of thrill that I get out of it. Now, coming back to the entrepreneurs that we're talking about here, if we get that sort of thrill and joy, it's in building what they're building, then then every day is a pleasure. Even if it's hard work, even if it's a challenge, it's still a pleasure. You can see it like that. Now, when you see of entrepreneurs, the main thing is being one. I would say that in these stress times, willingness to dilute willingness to dilute. I knew when merging capital first, the IDFC Bank, I knew that our stake will come down, my personal stake will come down, but willingness to dilute for a bigger cause or a bigger. So again, if any of the entrepreneurs are able to get equity from venture capital, are able to get money from private equity, many times they sit on valuation saying that, oh my God, the stock was 1,000, now it's 200, I can't dilute at this price. People keep holding on till one day it goes bust, and then they don't know where to look. We've seen that in the case of one airline in India. We've seen that in the case of another company in India, which is all public. So my commentary is that if you can raise equity, quickly raise equity. And number two, to the extent that we can, what you said, pivot online, we need to do that. Forget large entrepreneurs. I'm seeing small entrepreneurs do it. The online is such a crazily powerful thing that even tuition teachers, they were actually teaching maybe 2 3 children a day physically. Now they're tutoring 8 or 10 children physically. Guitar teacher was teaching maybe 2 people a day because he had to physically travel so much distance. Now they can teach 20 children together. So all this COVID and the video and Zoom and all these things actually is very positive for the services industry. Very positive, not casually positive, very positive for the services industry, and people should see the power of that if they can pivot.
Given the context of COVID-19 and how the ecosystem has changed, or rather forced to change because of that, what would you say the new environment in the COVID era and the post-COVID era will look like?
First of all, it won't be a pre-COVID and post-COVID. The post-COVID itself is so dramatically changing. It's so crazy. Earlier, uh, everything around us, since it's going digital, the for example, now we are very well doing a virtual conference right now. Students are learning from each other. From teachers are doing, teaching online. Work from home has become pretty much an acceptable thing, which was almost unthinkable earlier. So everything has changed. The very big change is coming up is the Internet of Things, and all the things that are there are now going to get connected by internet. We're already seeing it on television. Now television, you can see YouTube, for example, it's all connected, and some businesses also will improve actually. For example, laptops and tablets. People figure out that now in the post COVID, now we need tablets to connection. So children don't have tablets at school, so they are ordering tablets now. What I'm trying to say is that there's just so many things happening in terms of digital architecture creation.
I appreciate your optimism, but just to take a look at the reality that stares us at the face today. The first quarter GDP growth numbers are out, and they are a depressing, stand at a negative 23.9%. And if you and they'll probably be a lot worse if we take the estimates of the damage of the informal sector. So while yes, there is a lot of commentary that we are currently in a transition and things will bounce back, the current reality looks so grim and the future looks actually quite ugly. Unemployment rates are also going up the roof. So when you look at the situation like that, as an industry leader, how many years do you see us going through this painful process before we kind of recoup?
No, I don't deny at all. I agree with you. There is serious stress. Okay, there's no doubt at all, and entrepreneurs are stressed and so on. The all the numbers you said, GDP numbers are bad, -20%. EPFO numbers are down. Sales of almost every consumer durables etc. are down. Everything is true. But the thing is that it always feels like this when the chips are down and going downhill. But if you see 1 year forward or 2 year forward, if you see something is -60%, you will see +60%, because that's how the story will play out, right? Because eventually it's coming off a very low base. And if you see GDP, if you see that car sales down to 40%, next year probably you'll see +40%. But issue is, how do you live through this period? Because if you live through this period, you can enjoy the upswing also. Of course, you become digital and all, even better. But if you how do you live? And I mean this really for entrepreneurs, mid, small, large, everybody, certainly the mid and the small. How do you live through this period? Now I feel that because the regulators have come out and given this option for moratorium 2.0, and the government has given out the program of 3 lakh crores, which is basically, by the way, I must tell you, the government is really pushing it, and they're reaching out to banks and saying how much of the money have you actually dispersed. And actually, it's very impressive to see that. So when you get that kind of cash, take the cash, live through a period of a year or so, and then hope to catch back the Indian recovery cycle. So that's one way, because cash is option. If you run out of cash, you're in trouble. And if you really have trouble, then go ask for restructuring, because now the RBI is also permitting restructuring. So I do think banks will support that. Even we will support that.
Would you be in agreement that the credit guarantee scheme, while it is very well intentioned, it is very noble, the outcome, that we have seen has left a lot to be desired, because the takedown of that has been quite patchy. And we do see somewhat of resistance from banks, and understandably so, in terms of lending freely.
I think there's a bit of misconception there. I think banks are not at all, you don't have to be understanding of banks if they don't lend and stuff like that. Banks are lending because, they're lending at 9.25%, guaranteed by the government of India. Why would banks not lend? Banks are lending. The issue is something else, actually. Basically, the close to about the general consensus among banks is that of the amount that was estimated as the target dispersal for this category, close to about 25 to 30% of the customers, or 25% of the customers, don't want the extra credit. They see the extra money as a burden to their lives. They probably feel they can manage without that. That leaves about 75% of the population, and close to about 1.5 lakh crores have been sanctioned. About 1.2 lakh crores has been disbursed. So, in 15, 20 days to put out 1.2 lakh crores to the banking system for the small entrepreneurs, it's just not me. I mean, the whole public sector system and other private banks, etc. I think he's coming through. It's very true. And I can tell you the government is chasing us down. They conduct reviews on this repeatedly.
How would you foresee now that one will see the payment moratoria actually coming to an end? How do you see that panning out? What is the situation going to look like? Everybody, I mean, people are a bit edgy in terms of what's going to happen. It looks like there will be some casualty as we approach that.
Unfortunately, there could be some small entrepreneurs who are stuck in the middle of that ecosystem, and digital or no digital, they're just on a flat foot. And maybe some of them are already stressed even before the COVID, and maybe COVID has really knocked them. These things do happen. These are reality. From the our point of view, I feel that end of the day, the retail consumers always have an intention to pay. Nobody wants to have a tag of a defaulter and carry it all their lives. Credit bureau record gets spoiled, etc. So there may be delays, but people eventually, after 5 or 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, will pay. Now, they could end of the day still be some casualties, and for that only banking system has raised equity. I must tell you that in the last maybe year or so, 5, 6 months or so, banking system has raised close to about 1 lakh crores of equity. Certainly private sector banks have, and state banks have anyway have government of India for support. So the amount of equity raised by the Indian system has been very strong. I mean, close to, I think, a lakh of crores, both the raised plus the plan ahead of it, like more like 1.3, 1.4 lakh crores has been raised of equity, including plans. I think that's very strong. So banking system is strong because it raised equity. And rest, it will be what it will be, because it's very hard to say what is the extent of losses that will come from COVID. Very hard. That's why everybody is now placed a lot of cushion of equity and taken a lot of provisions, and then they will see the results as they play out. But like I tell entrepreneurs that everything will, after all ups and downs in life, things eventually come back, because India is a growing economy, consumption and all that. The same logic applies for banks also. So you will see that losses will come, maybe some losses, maybe credit losses will come, provisions will come, maybe June, December, September quarter, maybe December quarter, maybe March quarter. But eventually things will be fine again. It's the same story.
Fair enough. Would you say, Mr. Vaidyanathan, that because of COVID, there will be a streamlining of the MSME sector, and there will be a tightening of that space, because now anybody who is unfit to travel to the post-COVID era will be left out, and so what we'll be left with is a somewhat healthier sector, because it will be only those who have been agile enough to change, pivot, and manage this, and hence this sector will hold more promise.
That's true. I mean, but it's a very sad way of putting it, because first of all, it's true what you're saying. I mean, there'll be some churn and someone dies, but I don't take it so easily. I feel that the government is putting effort on this and should continue to put effort on this. I have always believed that the tax structures for small entrepreneurs should not be the same, because India has the same corporate tax rate. Everybody pays 25%. I say, why should a small entrepreneurs pay 25%? If the big boys are paying, we can pay, we are a large bank, we can pay 25%. But small entrepreneurs pay 5%, 2%, 0%, because we can't change the fact that the interest rates will be high. That's a market economy. But if we can reduce that, then I feel that they should get some shoulder, or they can get some shoulder. I've made this request to the government of India, not for us, but really from the entrepreneur's point of view, saying that why should they pay 25? Pay them, ask them to pay 5% up to a certain threshold. At least they have some relief over the big boys.
I think for the small entrepreneurs who are watching this, you will be their hero for mentioning this.
I've been pushing this theory for many years, saying that they should pay much lesser tax rate. We can afford to pay bigger tax rates. But to your second part of the conversation, I would say that to the people listening to the program, that if you can spend the money, spend. This whole thing about saying that trying to conserve money and being modest about spending, etc. It's all okay in okay times, but these are right now crisis times. If I spend money, it is income for someone else. If you spend money, it's income for someone else. If I have one message for the viewers, I'd say, if you have money that is spare at hand, please spend it. I too am spending as much as I can.
I think that's a noble thing, that each one contributes to the economy, and each one must take ownership and try and spend and provide livelihoods as much as we can.
If you save money, it's good for India. If you invest money, it's good for India. If you spend money, it's good for India. Do anything but do economic activity, create economic activity. That's my quick message for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Vaidyanathan. This has been truly insightful, and thank you for your candid speak. And hopefully the next time when we speak, things will have turned for the better, and we would be looking at much better prospects as an economy, and of course for small businesses in India. Thank you so much for your time.
To the awards celebration this evening. 8 seasons ago, when we launched the Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, it was because we as a network truly believed in the prowess of our country's small business sector, and we wanted to showcase their accomplishments on the most prestigious of platforms.
In that spirit, the Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020 are the result of an elaborate selection process wherein each nomination is carefully assessed by our process advisors and a very distinguished jury to determine if they are deserving of the honor. Before we reveal the winners, let's take a look at this short audio-visual of our journey till date that has led us to this evening's season concluding awards.
Attention please. India's only daily television platform, ET Now's Leaders of Tomorrow, is here once again to honor the backbone of our economy, the entrepreneurs. SMEs and startups across the nation who have harnessed disruptive innovation to create a new market and value network. In Season 8, we continue this tradition with Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards, celebrating excellence across 18 diverse categories and honoring the best SMEs and entrepreneurs in the nation. Amongst the glut of submissions, our distinguished jury ensured a rigorous evaluation protocol and have handpicked the best in the business. Founders who have surpassed their peers on innovation, growth and holistic business strategies. What set them apart are true grit, passion and courage. They are the shining beacons, the benchmark of quality and role models for peers. Year on year, this platform has presented the best in class, and this year we're forging ahead to meet new frontiers. Join us in celebrating the best in entrepreneurship at the Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards.
It's worth mentioning that Mazars came on board as a knowledge partner this season and put the evaluation frameworks in place to enable a distinguished jury to determine the winners of Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020. So here's a closer look at the underlying process and methodology.
This is a very good recognition for some of the small and medium enterprises, which would generally go unrecognized in the larger scheme of things. And as small and medium enterprises, these enterprises need support. Particularly, we have looked at the vision of the enterprise. What is the governance mechanism? What is the plan for growth for the business? And how these enterprises are showing leadership, particularly in terms of structured processes. Also, very important part in this process is that we have assessed the impact on the winners, particularly related to COVID. Whether at the time of COVID, they have been able to sustain with a financial performance. So I think it's a very, very important social element to recognize the leaders of tomorrow in the form of small and medium enterprises.
A very distinguished jury consisting of some of the who's who of Indian business evaluated hundreds of entries from across the country to finally arrive at the recipients of the highly prestigious Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020. But before we reveal the winners, let's hear from the jury themselves on the rigor and the relevance of the evaluation process.
As a jury member, I was pleasantly surprised to see the caliber of companies that came to light. I think the process was handled really well. The companies, it was difficult for us to choose between company A and B because they were so good in what they do. The jury members, excellent in terms of the industries that they represented and the knowledge that they brought to the table. We had very lively discussions and felt the right companies were chosen to be recognized.
With that, moving on to our first award category this evening. This is one sector where Indian companies have their strength across the board, from raw material to the final high-quality finished product. India continues to be the world's second largest exporter of textiles and clothing worldwide.
That's right. And our first category this evening is Clothing, Textile and Accessories SME of the Year. And here are the nominees.
In the category Clothing, Textile and Accessories SME of the Year, the nominations are Chandra Fabrics, NMK Textile Mills India and Kalyani Polymers. And the winner is NMK Textile Mills India.
And now let's take a closer look at NMK Textile Mills' journey so far.
Founded in 2006, NMK Textiles is a product development company specializing in high-quality, value-priced bed linens. The company was awarded a gold medal from the Textile Ministry, Government of India for its outstanding performance in 2012-2013. With a focus on sustainable packaging and environmentally safe products, NMK, besides its presence in India, launched its own direct-to-customer brand, California Design Den, in 2017.
I'm Rohit Mehrotra. I'm the Managing Director of NMK Textile Mills India Private Limited. We have been awarded the Textile SME of the Year 2020, Leaders of Tomorrow 8th edition. I want to thank BCCL and the jury for awarding us this award. It's a big recognition for the 400 families of NMK who work very hard to make the world's best luxurious and comfortable bed sheets.
And moving on to our next award category. In the wake of favorable economic policies and attractive fiscal incentives, India's food ecosystem offers huge opportunities for investments and growth. And here are the nominees for Food and Agricultural Processing SME of the Year.
In the category Food and Agricultural Processing SME of the Year, the nominations are Ad Shop Promotions, Radha Sham Industries and Pashupati Aquatics. And the winner is Pashupati Aquatics.
Let's take a closer look at Pashupati Aquatics' story.
With a mission to produce the best quality frozen seafood globally and credited as the pioneer of black tiger and Vannami cultivation in India, Pashupati Aquatics, founded in 2007, is considered one of the industry leaders in shrimp farming and export sector with its own processing facility with modern state-of-the-art technology.
I just want to dedicate this award to my entire team for this, because our team really did a good job. Our main motto is rural economic development. There is a scope of this business for our country, so we can develop our economic, we can develop our employment, and to get the sustainability of our business, for survivability of our business.
Many congratulations once again, and moving swiftly on to our next awards category. India enjoys a leading position in the global pharmaceutical sector as the largest provider of generic drugs globally. In fact, the Indian pharmaceutical sector supplies over 50% of global demand for various vaccines.
With that, here are the nominees for Pharma and Healthcare and Diagnostics SME of the Year.
In the category Pharma and Healthcare Diagnostics SME of the Year, the nominees are Bio4 India Pharmaceuticals, Bharat Parenterals and Modi Chemi Pharma. And the winner is Bio4 India Pharmaceuticals.
Let's take a closer look at our winner's journey.
Bio4 India Pharmaceuticals is engaged in the development and manufacturing of niche generic pharmaceutical products. Within a decade since its inception in 2007, the company has emerged as a trusted partner in the generic industry across US, Europe and other regulated markets. Featured in the Silicon Review's list of top 10 fastest growing pharma companies globally, Bio4 is committed to delivering complex and niche pharma products that exceed customer expectations.
I feel excited, and it's a great honor to accept the award for the leaders of tomorrow in the area of pharma, healthcare and diagnostics. I thank the jury for selecting Bio4 for this award. It is a great responsibility as well for the future to continue the success story of Bio4.
To our next award category. This next category provides employment to more than 20 million people in the country and is intrinsic to the movement of the economy, literally.
Without further ado, here are the nominees for Logistics, Cargo and Courier SME of the Year.
In the category Logistics, Cargo and Courier SME of the Year, the nominations are AWL India and Sequel Logistics. And the winner is Sequel Logistics.
Let's take a closer look at Sequel Logistics' story.
Established in the year 2004, Sequel Logistics is a supply chain management company providing comprehensive solutions for critical logistics requirements globally. Recognized as the best logistics company by several veterans of the industry, the company Sequel Logistics also offers award-winning forward stocking and warehousing solutions pan-India.
I'm Raj. I'm the founder, director and CEO at Sequel Logistics. We are extremely honored and thrilled to once again receive the ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow eAward, where Sequel Logistics was adjudged the SME of the Year 2020 in the logistics category. A recognition of this magnitude couldn't have come at a better time than now, when our teams have been working relentlessly to move critical and essential products across the country and across the world despite various restrictions on movements. I once again thank ET Now and IDFC First Bank for this award. Thank you.
Before we proceed to the next set of awards, our distinguished Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards jury have these insights to share on the quality of entries competing for the highly competitive and coveted Leaders of Tomorrow's eAwards 2020.
Every human being at every stage of life looks for recognition, and awards by media houses, by foundations, and just the platform like Leaders for Tomorrow, and just the boost in morale that they get by getting the recognition, by looking at it for funding or looking at it for customer acceptance, I think it goes a very long way.
India is the world's third largest producer and consumer of electricity. So it's no surprise that the electrical and industrial electronics industry has witnessed record-breaking double-digit growth rates. Our next category is Machinery, Electricals and Electronics SME of the Year. And here are the nominees.
In the category Machinery, Electricals and Electronics SME of the Year, the nominations are Sahajanan Technologies, Oilmax Systems and Desire Energy Solutions. And the winner is Oilmax Systems.
Let's all take a closer look at Oilmax Systems' journey to date.
Founded in 2010, Oilmax Systems is engaged in manufacturing and exporting centrifugal oil cleaning systems with an installation base of over 50,000 units. Having a strong customer base, including renowned names such as Ford, Hyundai, Tata, Siemens, among others, Oilmax is a trusted name for unique oil cleaning system solutions.
I am Ashutosh Gokhale, Director Oilmax Systems Private Limited, Pune. We are very happy and excited to receive ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 SME of the Year Award in Machinery, Electrical and Electronics segment. We thank ET Now for this great initiative to identify and recognize SMEs for their achievements and place them on national level.
Many congratulations, and now we move on to our next award category. This next category has truly put India on the world map. We are home to a booming IT industry worth $150 billion in value, with India being the world's third largest technology hub globally. And hence our next category is IT, ITES and Tech SME of the Year. Let's have a look at the nominees.
In the category IT, ITES and Tech SME of the Year, the nominees are Stellar Information Technology, Dave Information Technology and HRH Next Contact Center Services. And the winner is HRH Next Contact Center Services.
Here's a quick glimpse of HRH Next Contact Center Services' journey.
Solutions designed to deliver personalized customer experiences and complete lifecycle management services, HRH Next Contact Center Services has evolved as a consumer durable giant across South India from the 6-decade-old Hyderabad Radio House brand. The company handles inbound and outbound calling services along with providing social media and ticketing solutions for a heavy clientele including Idea, Swiggy, Maruti Suzuki among others.
We at HRH Next have always believed in offering a superior customer experience to all our clients, irrespective of their size and scale. What started off in 2012 as a tiny little dream to offer genuine customer service specific to Indian customers has blossomed into an over 2,000 people entity with centers across South India to offer lingual and regional specific services in almost 10 Indian languages. On behalf of my entire team at HRH Next, we would like to thank ET Now for recognizing the potential of SMEs like us and declaring us as the winners of the LOT Season 8 eAwards 2020 in the IT, ITES and Tech category.
And now we bring you some words of wisdom from our illustrious awards jury.
Leaders of Tomorrow provides a lot of these entrepreneurs to showcase the kind of work they are doing in terms of the nation building part is concerned, and more importantly trying to solve some unique problem statements which a large related industry can't do. That's what we saw in terms of the evaluations, very unique kind of solutions that they have come up in terms of building. And these kind of platforms will definitely provide a lot more of enthusiasm and motivation for the long tail of entrepreneurship which India has.
Many, many congratulations, and moving on very quickly to our next award category. India has become the preferred designing and manufacturing hub for auto OEMs globally, and this next industry category is looking to achieve $200 billion in revenue by 2026. Here are the nominees for the Auto OEM Manufacturer SME of the Year.
In the category Auto OEM Manufacturer SME of the Year, the nominations are Bharat Balancing Weights & Co., Big Boy Toys, and Indian Auto Wheels. And the winner is Bharat Balancing Weights & Co.
Here's a quick glimpse of our winner's journey.
Recognized as one of the largest manufacturers of wheel balancing weights in India, with low-cost automation methodology and with the mission to become an ace manufacturing company delivering sustainable value to its customers, Bharat Balancing Weights & Co. is the only company in India to manufacture products in lead, zinc, steel and tin.
I'm Gadkari Subramanian, MD of Bharat Balancing Weights & Co. It's our pleasure, from bottom of my heart, I thank ET Now team for choosing our company, Bharat Balancing Weights, for this award, Leaders of Tomorrow eAward 2020. Our attitude, go with customer and response to customer in time, makes us to be a preferred partner. This is what I feel our winning edge. Thank you.
Moving on to our next award category. This industry has been amongst the hardest hit by the pandemic, but nonetheless remains among India's largest and most vibrant industries and is expected to cross $375 billion by 2025. This particular category also is very close to my heart. And I'm talking about the Travel, Tourism and Hospitality SME of the Year. Let's take a look at the nominees.
In the category Travel, Tourism and Hospitality SME of the Year, the nominations are Citius Holidays, Campus Students Communities and Global Wings Tours India. And the winner is Campus Students Communities.
Here's a quick glimpse of our winner's story.
Founded in 2016, Campus Students Communities is one of the nation's prime developers and managers of student housing. Having 28 campuses in India and catering to more than 6,000 students, Campus Students is providing comfortable accommodation and amenities to help students succeed academically and thrive socially.
I am Saket Jalan, the founder and CEO for Campus Student Communities Private Limited. It's a happy moment for my stakeholder, especially all my employees, my team, my consultants who have trusted me for this achievement. The Leaders of Tomorrow, recognizing entrepreneurs like us is a happiest and joyous moment.
Okay, changing the tempo this evening, we're moving on to our thematic awards. India has become the world's leading manufacturing hub globally, and with the Atmanirbhar Bharat movement now taking center stage, Make in India has taken on a completely new meaning. With that move, on to our very prestigious category, LOT Best Manufacturer SME of the Year.
The nominees for the Best Manufacturer SME of the Year are Aircon Composites, Active Green Window Solutions, Bharat Parenterals, Recliners India and Kingswood Industries. And the winner is Bharat Parenterals.
Let's take a look at Bharat Parenteral's journey.
Bharat Parenterals is engaged in research, development, manufacturing, marketing, sourcing and distribution of pharmaceutical products. The company has grown exponentially on par with international counterparts to be recognized as a star export house by the Government of India with a presence in more than 40 countries and counting.
My name is Bharat Desai. I'm Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat Parenterals Limited. It is a huge honor for me and for my company to receive this prestigious award of Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020. I feel really humbled. Such award is always, motivates you for continuing your good efforts.
And now we bring you some more insights from our eminent Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards jury, who took on the task of meticulously evaluating entries that poured in from all the corners of the country to identify the winner of the highly coveted Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020.
Platform like Leaders for Tomorrow is also, creating an ecosystem of not only mentors but also within startup. I think there's so much interesting things going on within the startup ecosystem. There's a lot people can learn from each other. Because I meet startups, some people are very strong operationally, done a fantastic job, but in terms of, let's say, brand, a little bit weak. I think bringing together a startup ecosystem that can learn from each other, help each other, is a large opportunity. That's something that this platform can definitely do.
Our next award category is incredibly special. The Ballantyne's Golf Retreat presents the Undaunted SME Entrepreneur of the Year. It goes to an entrepreneur who has demonstrated the ability to innovate time and time again, building an authentic sustainable growth strategy for his enterprise while continuing to lead the competition by leaps and bounds.
Ballantyne's Golf Retreat presents Undaunted SME Entrepreneur of the Year. And the winner is Sharad Jobanputra of Sequel Logistics.
And here's a quick glimpse of how Sharad Jobanputra has shaped the Sequel Logistics growth story.
Sharad Jobanputra is the CMD of Sequel Logistics, a supply chain management company providing comprehensive solutions for critical logistics. With nearly 2 decades of industry leadership, championing a robust, secure and technology-driven platform, Sharad Jobanputra has become a flag bearer for professional excellence in the transportation and logistics sector.
I am Sharad Jobanputra. I am Chairman and Managing Director of Sequel Logistics Private Limited. It is an honor to be awarded as the SME Entrepreneur of the Year ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow eAward 2020. This age, it feels very nice and motivating to get recognized by such a prestigious award, to learn every day, grow continuously despite challenging times.
Our next award category is a very coveted Leaders of Tomorrow Innovative SME of the Year. It goes to an enterprise that's a disruptor in its field, has embraced innovation to set new industry benchmarks, and is definitely a company that sets itself apart.
Leaders of Tomorrow Innovative SME of the Year. And the winner is Aircon Composites.
Here's a look at our winners' journeys so far.
Aircon Composites has become a world-class specialist in manufacturing of glass fiber and carbon fiber products for oil and gas, airports, industrial, wastewater, marine, railway, defense and civil infrastructure projects throughout the world. The company has consistently outperformed the competition with respect to optimizing design in order to reduce cost, speed up order processing and expedite delivery.
I'm Mukesh Maheshwari, Director of Aircon Composites. We feel at top of the world. We thank Times for this Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards 2020. This is one of the most prestigious and coveted awards for which we are enthralled.
Having awarded the most promising SMEs pan-India, we'll now move on to startups here at the Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 eAwards 2020.
The Indian tourism and hospitality industry has emerged as one of the key drivers of growth within the services sector in India, with startups leading the charge. Besides being one of the largest employment generators, this sector accounts for the most significant sources of forex for the country. Our next category, ladies and gentlemen, is travel, tourism and hospitality startup of the year. And here are the nominees.
In the category Travel, Tourism and Hospitality Startup of the Year, the nominees are Clay Play, Your Space, and the winner is Your Space.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a quick glimpse of the Your Space journey.
Your Space is an IIM Cambridge Oxford alumni initiative dedicated to making the lives of young adults living away from home a safe, hassle-free and memorable experience. Your Space has become India's premier student housing brand, cultivating a student-first environment that promotes overall holistic well-being.
My name is Nidhi Kumran. I'm the CEO of Your Space. We are extremely humbled and grateful to have won the Leaders of Tomorrow Award in the hospitality category. Your Space was born with a vision to change the way students live and experience the entire student living experience.
Advancement in digital technologies, changing consumer preferences, government reforms and shift in service sourcing strategies are all factors driving the rapid transformation of the Indian logistics ecosystem. And with that, our next category is Logistics, Cargo and Courier Startup of the Year. And here are the nominees.
In the category Logistics, Cargo and Courier Startup of the Year, the nominations are I Think Logistics, JMS Logistics and Express, and Thar Shipping Lines. And the winner is I Think Logistics.
Here's a quick glimpse of the I Think Logistics growth story.
I Think Logistics has grown to find its place among India's best party logistics service providers, empowering online merchants to grow by simplifying the order management process and by providing express delivery service on par with international standards, creating a world-class consumer experience for retailers and e-commerce companies alike.
I'm really honored and completely blessed that we are chosen for Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards 2020. I am on cloud 9. It is a moment of pride and I am extremely blessed for that. I would sincerely like to thank Times Group for honoring I Think Logistics as Logistic and Cargo Startup of the Year.
India's foray into food tech is no longer a phenomenon limited to the metros. Upwards of $10 billion have been invested in the Indian food tech economy, and with the number of smartphone users on the rise, analysts believe it's only the tip of the iceberg for this market. Our next category is Food and Food Tech Startup of the Year, and here are the nominees.
In the category Food and Food Tech Startup of the Year, the nominations are eFresh Agribusiness Solutions and I Support Farming. And the winner is I Support Farming.
And now we offer you a glimpse of I Support Farming's story so far.
By enabling rural farmers to procure necessary capital from urban investors for farming, I Support Farming minimizes farmer exploitation at the hands of money lenders, landlords and middlemen. Owing to their efforts, today more than 200 farmers in Tamil Nadu have experienced a 20 to 30% revenue increment in addition to flowing profits for the investors that show no signs of slowing down.
My name is Vijay Kumar and I run this company called I Support Farming. It's a great honor to receive the award for Food and Food Tech Startup of the Year in the Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards. And especially during these COVID times where the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And the awards like these give a great motivation for the team to achieve more and excel in a long way. And thank you so much for this wonderful award.
Many congratulations, and now we move on to our next award category. This next category has truly put India on the world map. We are home to a booming IT industry worth $150 billion in value, with India being the world's third largest technology hub globally. Let's have a look at the nominees.
In the category IT, ITES, E-commerce Startup of the Year, the nominees are Terra Techcom, RDL Technologies, Niwi, and the winner is RDL Technologies.
Here's a quick glimpse of our winner's journey.
By demonstrating its leadership in thrust areas like embedded system design and automotive domains, RDL Technology has become the player to compete with in the IoT space.
Myself, Raghavendra Shetty, CEO and Director of RDL Technologies. Thank you very much for selecting me as being recognized as a winner at the Leaders Tomorrow Season 8 eAward 2020. This is clearly one of the most significant events of my professional career, and a mileage boost factor which will strive me to focus and implement more towards innovation.
And here are some more insights from our jury.
We saw a lot of very diverse number of pitches. A lot of these startups are at various degrees of maturity. The interesting thing is the spread, right? We saw everything from the shipping and the container industry, all the way to farming, all the way to AI, all the way to manufacturing. So the depth and the spread of the startups we looked at was interesting.
We now bring you a very special category. The Ballantyne's Golf Retreat presents the Undaunted Startup Entrepreneur of the Year. It goes to a company and an entrepreneur that delivers innovative, customized and competitively priced end-to-end solutions for the agri-tech industry.
In the category Ballantyne's Golf Retreat presents Undaunted Startup Entrepreneur of the Year, the winner is Vijay Kumar Mani, promoter and co-founder I Support Farming.
Here's a quick glimpse of our winner's journey.
Promoter and co-founder of I Support Farming, Vijay Kumar Mani is connecting city dwellers with farmers by way of crowdfunding for agriculture. He has developed a first-of-its-kind platform connecting urban communities with rural farmers, making the vision of increased production, productivity and widespread market access for farmers a reality.
My name is Vijay Kumar, and I run this company called I Support Farming. So it gives me, a great pleasure to receive the Startup Entrepreneur of the Year award in Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards. This award will be a game changer for us, and it gives us a lot more motivation for the team.
We now bring you a very distinguished category, the Social Game Changer of the Year. In this very coveted category, we've made every attempt to look beyond strategic business outcomes and focus on the impact the company is having on ground. This next organization is giving its patrons another lease of life.
Social Game Changer of the Year. And the winner is Umeed Child Development Center.
And here's a glimpse of our winner's story.
Umeed Child Development Center is an NGO that is supporting children in overcoming their disabilities through direct clinical services. Today, the organization is among the country's leading NGOs with a world-class team of trained professionals who prevent, diagnose, and manage developmental disabilities in children more effectively.
My name is Dr. Anita Limai. I'm the CEO of Umeed Child Development Center. On behalf of the Umeed team, I'd like to express my gratitude to ET Now for selecting Umeed for the Social Game Changer of the Year award for this year. We are hoping that this award and this recognition will help create awareness for the cause. Umeed has been trying to shift the needle of inclusion in India quite a bit over the last few years, and we are hoping that this award will serve as an additional shot in the arm towards that effort.
The current government startup-friendly environment is served as a blessing for female entrepreneurs, and research indicates women-led enterprises are on a very welcome rise.
This year we are introducing a new category celebrating the spirit of the Indian female social entrepreneur.
Leaders of Tomorrow Woman Entrepreneur of the Year. And the winner is Vibha Krishnamurthy of Umeed Child Development Center.
Dr. Vibha Krishnamurthy has charted the course for Ummeed Child Development Centre's journey till date.
Vibha Krishnamurthy is the woman behind Ummeed Child Development Centre. The NGO works towards empowering kids with disabilities and handholds their families through this journey. Having dedicated her career towards providing specialized services for children with special needs, her evidence-based, transdisciplinary, family-centered approach to care is empowering such children to learn, grow and live their lives to the fullest potential.
My name is Dr. Vibha Krishnamurthy. I'm a developmental pediatrician and I'm the founder and executive director of Ummeed Child Development Centre in Mumbai. I feel privileged and honored that my team and I and the issue we stand for is being recognized by the Leaders of Tomorrow eAwards 2020. I think every child should be invested in, and that includes children with disabilities. And that's the issue that I believe most strongly in, which is being recognized. I'm really grateful for that.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we bring the curtains down on the Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 2020 eAwards. We hope you enjoyed watching this as much as we've enjoyed hosting it and working through it.
And we'd of course like to re-acknowledge our partners in this effort, IDFC First Bank. Have a lovely evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you, of course, next season on the Leaders of Tomorrow.